G'day everyone, you are watching the Sydney City Space Slugs. We're coming to you live with yet another Round 5 game from the current Episode 2 TTS Season League. Very excited to bring this game for you guys today. And also joining me in the commentary box is a good mate called Kevin. How you going, Kevin?
Doing good, Tom. How are you today?
I am absolutely fantastic. Thanks so much for joining me in the commentary box again. Now, we've got a really good, exciting game today. This will be determining, I guess, the winner of the West Americas bracket of gamers. So we've got Longhiver on the right. Sorry, I'll have to switch those names around. And we've got Souup on the left. So, Kevin, did you want to have a look at Soup's
Yeah,
roster and tell me what you think about that one?
absolutely. So just to run through real quick what Soup's bringing today, it looks like we've got Lord Maul, and accompanying him, Gar Saxon, Merciless Commander, and the Mandalorian Super Commandos. So straight out of the core, really good, really solid, really powerful, and I think there's definitely been a resurgence in people playing that exact combination. I just find those units to be fascinating, and I hope more people give them a try, especially this all Mando list we have going here. And then for the other half, Luminara, Bo-Katan, and the Clan Kreese Mandalorians. Again, just leaning into the full Mandalorian synergy. And it's been interesting to see with Mandos in general, kind of with the primaries function well with them. I think Maul is an excellent choice because he's not dipping into your Force Reserve, and I think Luminara is also great for the extra movement, it's all about the floor, keeping things moving in the battle. So I definitely think this is a powerful option to use if you're considering all Mandos.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw Soup use this to great effect up against Oman in their round 4 game. So just a really great showing for the Mandalorians. And I do agree, some of some of the less commonly used characters like Gar and Bo and the Mandos, like Clan Kreese. So it's really cool to see them alongside this pairing. And on the other side, we've got Longhivers. This is a little bit more of a common roster, I guess you could say. So we've got Count Dooku, Separatist Leader, along with one of the super tactical droids, Kraken, and the Magna Guard. So this is a very position-based, out-of-activation movement style squad here. So we're going to see the Magna Guard dragged up the field with both Kraken and Count Dooku, so they can get some out-of-activation attacks, which is great. We'll see the same thing happen to the B2 battle droids, and then we've got a splash of Lord Maul, who's just a fantastic piece, as Kevin was saying. Some diceless displacement, some fantastic attacks, and some incredible speed. And then we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, who can do a lot of things. I guess he's quite quick. Doesn't have the best attack, but he can shut down a particular flank with his mind trick for 2 force. So it's going to be a really good game. Just in terms of what we had, we did have, I think it was Soup that won the priority role. Is that correct, Kevin?
Yes, Soup won. They had a tie, believe it or not, that first roll. So yeah, upon the reroll, Soup did take it.
Okay. So yeah, we had that, and now we're just placing. So we had Soup drop Luminara first, which I think is a pretty good initial drop. She's pretty tanky. She doesn't really mind who she goes up against, thanks to her beautiful expertise tree. That said, if she was going to go up against anyone, you probably wouldn't want to have her up against Maul, just because he can get that expose on demand. But yeah. So we do have a couple of people in, or more than a couple, which is cool, watching the stream. We've got Wargaming Dad and the Cam Damage. Kevin, the Cam Damage is saying that your microphone's a touch low. So if there's any way you can turn that up to increase the viewing experience, that'd be awesome. If not, that's all good.
Let me see if there is anything I can do with that. Thank you
Oh yeah,
for letting me know.
that's a lot better. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
is this better? Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. And then we've had Soup drop Darth Maul up against. Sorry, I should say Lord Maul up against Dooku, because he's not a Darth at this point. And what do you think about these placements? You're a fairly Dooku centric player. You've played him a few times. Do you have a preference as to what he goes into or up against?
I think for this, I definitely would prefer Dooku to probably go against Maul, but that's just. I mean, Dooku versus Lumi is going to be. Oh wait, no, he is going. I was looking at the wrong side there. Nope, he did it exactly how I would do it. Dooku probably has a better chance against Maul, I would say. obviously Lumi doesn't even hit that hard, so it's kind of a wasted effort to even bother putting Dooku and his defensive prowess against her because she's not going to be doing a whole lot to him anyway.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
this is a good
absolutely.
matchup. I will just point out that I do appreciate this gentleman's agreement here to delete this barrel that was hindering the deployment on Soup's side.
Yeah,
So that was
yeah. I think
that
there's
definitely
there's a
changes up the
barrel
deployment
around.
because it gets weird over here when that's not removed.
Yeah, 100%. So we're always going to have the same style of objective layout for struggle number one in Sabotage Showdown, but we did draw set the charges. So this is going to be the one where you activate a unit with the Shatterpoint, and each character in that unit may dash. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And we're starting. So let me just grab the timer. And Kevin, we've pulled Bo-Katan with Soup. What do you reckon about that early activation?
I think if there's anyone I want to see early, I wouldn't mind it being Bo. I would say Bo or Gar, good options. Honestly, with my experience too, probably Lumi, just because all she really wants to do is just go, tank a point. So I wouldn't have minded seeing her first either. But can't go wrong with Bo.
Yeah, Lumi's a really interesting primary in that you do want to see her early, right? Because if she gets left behind, she's a fairly
Mm-hmm.
innocuous activation. I mean, she doesn't do a whole lot for you, which is a bit of a shame. So what do you usually do with Bo? I mean, she's such a tanky character. She really can. That protection and steadfast is just absolutely clutch. And looks like she's just advanced and taken cover to preserve some force. I wonder if we are going to see a force spent. We are. Yep, so there is another force for a jump. Now, where do you usually position her? Just straight on a point? Just sit on it? Don't worry about it? That kind of thing?
So typically, I mean, if I am pulling Bo first, this is probably exactly what I'm doing. I might be going a little bit further back because I do have, that steadfast. Since I'm contesting a point with her now, I would probably push her a little bit further back just so maybe they have to commit a little bit further up to be able to attack her. I don't know that I would necessarily go right there myself, but that's just me. Especially with the threat of, Maul running in
Yeah.
there and just yanking her off.
Maybe the thought was that the further back he goes, the easier Maul can pull her off of the objective to get her outside of that protection and steadfast range. So if he goes as
Certainly
close
a
to the objective
possibility.
as possible, yeah, then he might be able to lock that down. So that is going to be three objectives captured for Soup and two captured for Longhiver. And the first pull that we've had was the Magna Guard. They've been promptly smacked into reserve, only to draw Count Dooku, and that's probably the perfect sort of combination that you want with Longhiver as well. I mean, Count Dooku whacking those Mandalorians. Sorry, the Magna Guard in reserve is a really good way to get them up. But who do you want to play from reserve in Longhiver's roster? Do you think? My mind thinks Maul. I mean, he's the sort of the centerpiece
I mean,
character that you don't want
absolutely.
to.
Yeah, I agree with you on Maul there. I think similar to how we were talking about Luminara being pulled early is not, not exactly. It's not bad. It's something you want. Dooku is another one where he can definitely get left behind. The last thing you want is Dooku towards the bottom of the deck. So at least this way, he's getting everybody moving. He's getting himself into position, much like Lumi, to just be able to plant his feet on a point and say, "Good luck moving me." You're going to have to do it with some kind of diceless displacement because attacking into Dooku is typically most times not useful or beneficial.
Yeah, it's usually a bit futile for sure. So the reason that I ask is because we have seen those Magna Guard put into reserve. If you had have drawn Maul there, I guess it's actually not a bad thing because you've got Maul has a target here in Bo-Katan, right? So
That's exactly it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think
But
that well, yeah,
no,
to
you
go in
go.
second definitely helps with if you would have pulled Maul, it pretty much makes up your mind for you, right? At that point, you just kind of move him forward, pull Bo into his range, and just kind of do what Maul does. Um, so I think in that instance, it wouldn't have been bad. I think that's the advantage to not going first on this mission pack.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, you get the option to either grab a point or equalize that sort of center line. And the one main thing that we've been seeing in these Sabotage Showdown mission pack battles is that it goes 3-3, 3-3 quite a bit of time, and then sometimes
Yeah.
someone breaks parity and it sort of snowballs from there. So what we've seen just then is a clutch use of protection protocol. So I'll just bring that up on the screen. So after an allied character that's a Separatist Alliance primary unit makes a move action, keyword being action there, you can have one of the Magna Guard do a full advance towards the chosen character. So whilst it does look like Dooku is not on the point at the moment, you are still going to be able to capture that point with the Magna Guard doing a full move. But Dooku's fast enough. I mean, he can probably get a reposition on his first success or something similar. And that, I guess, is the power of the Magna Guard being played from reserve and not needing to go so initially. Would you keep Dooku on Force Mastery here, or would you prefer to have him on his duelist side, the Form 2 Makashi?
I think right here, if the intention is to electrocute Gar, which it's looking like it is, I think they, yep, there we go. We've got an attack going into him. Did he switch to Makashi though? Yeah, that was probably the right call, just to try to get that reposition on the first tree, like you had said. So all
Yeah,
you're really looking
100%.
for there is that one crit to just be able to then move Dooku on the point, maybe put a little bit of damage and a condition onto Gar.
And that is exactly what he got as well. So he did get that one crit through. That'll be the only success that he goes. It'll be one crit, one damage, and a reposition for Count Dooku.
And that's
And he
just
can
a lot of extra movement for Dooku, which is
it's amazing.
excellent. Oh, we did not turn off the point then.
Yeah, you're quite a Dooku fan, aren't you? In terms of who he can pair with. I mean, you've been running him with Anakin Skywalker to quite a lot of success.
They have a lot of fun together, and I have a lot of fun using them together. So yeah, it's been nice getting more games in lately with Dooku. He's just a fun piece. He's a cool character for anybody that, beyond just, I mean, he's great in the movies, but anything beyond that, like Clone Wars, just an exciting character all around. So it's fun to watch him just kind of go around, do his thing, be the leader of the Separatist army like he is, and I think he plays really well in this game. And he's got some interesting pairings with him, just because you don't have to use Force as often on Dooku, and then being able to get it back by having your primaries and secondaries wounded, which is inevitably going to happen in this game anyway. He just really buffs up your Force economy in a way that most other characters don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, a play like that is really great in that now you've got two people standing on that objective, and without diceless displacement, there's not a lot of things that you can do to try and get them out of there. I mean, you are Soup, and you have just drawn Gar Saxon, and unfortunately, there's no way for Gar Saxon to displace or contest this objective here in the bottom with Dooku and the Magna Guard on the point. So with that said, I mean, you know that you're going to get a 3 parity. How are you going to try and make up for this scenario? Are you going to try and put Gar on the point and just place him there and hope for the best? You do have Magna Guard in the bag as Longhiver, so any character that you sort of put on that point is going to be displaced almost immediately. So what are you going to do as Soup here, Kevin?
I think if I am going with Gar, I think it is probably wisest to go with him. I don't think you necessarily want to go with anybody on the other side of the board since there's no targets yet. So probably just do what you can to. I know he's not going to do much to Dooku, but I think there's a way you can at least get the Magna Guard off this point, just because Gar does have access to those shoves and pins. So maybe taking a focus shot into the Magna to at least lower the body count on that point isn't a bad idea. I mean, you could shoot Dooku, but then Dooku has the ability to blank out at the cost of some Force a couple of hits into him. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are seeing the shot into Dooku, it seems. And I mean, I guess it's not a real risk here, noting that Gar Saxon's not on the point and he won't be shoving Dooku off from that angle. But what's your usual approach going into the Separatists, noting that they have things like Kraken and Dooku? Do you usually try and nail down the supports?
If I'm fighting Separatists, more often than not, I am trying to go for those supports, because I feel like Separatists, probably more than any other faction at this point, like, they are so dependent on those supports doing what they need to do, the extra attacks from Kraken and Kalani, the extra attacks from Dooku's identity. I think that they're the real linchpin to it. So yeah, I typically will put my emphasis into taking out Magnas, taking out B2s, B1s, whatever it is. And especially Dooku, usually I just ignore the guy. Like, after that last game I had on stream here with you with against Morgan, going in and hitting him with Vader, even with all those dice, Dooku can still do the things he wants to do and kind of ruin your day and your plans. So I typically just avoid him.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So what we've had was 8 successes going into Dooku and 4 blocks for Dooku, and I think we might just be considering some use of the Mandalorian's, of Dooku's ability. What's it called? It's called Surely You Can Do Better. So we might be doing that. Oh no, we actually did end up going into the Magna Guard. Sorry, so that explains it a lot more. So we had 6 damage and a pin going into the Magna Guard with some shoving, and it looks like we are following up with Gar Saxon here just to place him on the point to see what we can do about Dooku and outnumbering him later on. I think that's good. You put the pin on the Magna Guard, which is clutch. It means that you're probably only going to see one Magna Guard in the center for the foreseeable future, even if they do decide to use their activation, and that's just going to lessen the impact of their sort of out of activation movements, etc. So what are you hoping for? Do you just pull the Magna Guard here, Kevin, and push Gar right back off the point, or do you sort of see what you can do and maybe even get that 4th point by fishing for Maul or OBE2 or something similar and displacing Bo-Katan?
Right. I think at that point, I probably just because with the pin, like you said, the pin on the Magnus is going to hurt them. So I think maybe I'm trying to get someone else on that point, shove Gar off, and then yeah, the Magnus are a couple points away from getting wounded, but at least they're there with Dooku. They're protecting him from any follow-up attacks, especially from the super commandos coming in. Because if you can just weather that storm, Lumi's not going to come in there and do damage to Dooku. So I think I just kind of solidify my hold on that point, and then free up that reserve spot, more importantly.
Yep, 100%. So we have drawn the Shatterpoint. So we're looking for Longhiver to maybe do a dash first and then use some Darth Maul goodness to displace Bo-Katan and have a crack at taking 4 points. And that is the parity that you want to break. So that's a really good activation. A really good activation pull for Longhiver there. I think you probably do just go Maul, right? Like, I mean, he's a safe play. You can at the very least, displace Bo-Katan onto the floor and then, do a climb or even a jump off of his combat tree or something similar.
And I wonder if Longhiver remembers that he's got that dash associated with the press forward from Set the Charges. If he does choose to go with Maul. Got that little bit of extra movement on top of it. So Maul with a dash followed by double advance means he's wherever he wants to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And what Kevin is referring to there, guys, is the tactical ability granted from the Shatterpoint activation. I've just got that up on the screen for you. It's called Press Forward. It is a may, so it's not a mandatory movement, and it looks like Longhiver has forgotten about it, unfortunately. Has forgotten about it. So what do? Do you just just do the normal Maul thing, move forward, displace Bo-Katan, try and maybe even lightsaber throw her, or do you even just displace her, climb, and then do the lightsaber throw while she's on the floor, just so you don't get caught up in melee?
Oh, looks like he does have the dash there. So I think what I do here is I do the dash, obviously. I do the pay 1 health to advance maybe kind of like under the bridge, kind of this area over here. Pay the health, pull her off, and then I haven't used an action at that point, right? Because I've done the free dash, I've done the free advance. Make an attack into her, trying to get that reposition or the shove or just something so that they're not engaged after it. And I've put a little bit of damage onto Bo. And then use that last action to just climb up onto that bridge, because then maybe you get Bo off the point. She's got a couple damage on her. She's not gaining protection and steadfast anymore since she's not contesting it, and then he's just firmly on it. I think that's what I would do with Maul in this instance. Just trying to get her onto the bottom level.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've seen here is the free dash, and then we've seen the climb action, and now it seems like we're doing just a force speed. We have taken 3 damage, so Longhive is definitely planning on using the sustained by rage ability, not only to use force speed, but also there is no place to run, so spending 3 force for the price of 3 damage, which is such a good ability. So that's what we're doing, but I will be interested to see the pull angle here on Maul. I think he might be planning on the first success shove on Bo-Katan, but she is steadfast. So unless
Yep.
he
So
flips to
he,
Dark
yeah,
Rage, he won't be able to get it.
yeah.
Mm.
I think you get more mileage out of this by going kind of the bottom path here, pulling her down to your level, hitting her, and then getting a way to climb. Because then that means that she's at a totally different level from the objective. Maybe she's off of it, so she's losing those passive bonuses, and she's just kind of out of place.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it is worth noting here, guys, that we did see Longhiver measure for the pull angle before he actually sort of used the ability. So it does state in the rules that you're not really able to do anything unless you've paid the ability or paid the price to do so. So you can use measurement tools in terms of your movement angles and all that kind of stuff, but you can never measure for a pull or a shove outside of you actually being able to trigger the ability. So there was a little bit of a preemptive pull angle, which makes it a lot easier for Maul to be placed adequately. But yeah, just keep in mind that I mean they've probably got a gentleman's agreement that you're allowed to do that, but in some circuits you definitely won't be able to do that.
Looks like this ended up being a good move here because now she's off the point. She loses that steadfast protection, and she's got 7 dice at range coming into her from Maul.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got 4 successes into 2. So it will be 2 damage, 2 successes and a damage going through on to Bo-Katan, which I think is just 5 damage, 5 flat, right? Like he's such a savage.
Yeah, he's a madman.
Yeah, so he gets a shove and a reposition and a 5th damage there from his expertise tree, from his thrown lightsaber. What do you reposition to? Do you just sort of place him right in the center just to make it a little bit harder for him to be displaced? Or do you have a way that you usually use Maul?
I think considering what he's up against here, you probably, yeah, get a little bit closer, maybe so at least it takes 2 shoves to get him off the point. Obviously, if they got it from a certain angle, you can always just push him right on off the bridge. So, and the Clan Crees, I mean, they're good at pushing, right? They have what they
Oh,
need,
yeah.
tools at their disposal to be able to get him off. So, I think there's not a right or wrong way to go about where you position Maul at this point. Knowing that he's still got his card in the activation deck, he can still go again and do what he wants to do. I'm more so curious to see when we get to Soup's Maul, what he ends up doing. You know, do you go and just drag Dooku off that point, or do you maybe double move and go focus fire the other side of the board and just put extra pressure into Maul?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So I think what we should see is maybe Maul. I'm just going to zoom in on the actual placement. Yeah, Maul around there where we've seen him. Maybe even just touching the objective with the left-hand side of Maul's base, just to make a push sort of in towards the center of the board from the Clan Kreese a little bit more difficult. I would have liked to see that. At this stage, you know, he can be pushed to the left-hand side of the board where Bo-Katan is relatively easily, but he had that reposition to really solidify his position there. And as you've just said, Kevin, we've just seen Maul being pulled for Soup. So this is one way that he's going to be able to get 3 points here. And who do you go for? How do you manage this activation? The Gar Saxon position is a little bit difficult to get. There is no place to run pull onto Dooku.
Yeah, you would have to. Oh, did they get rid of the? I'm just noticing on the middle of the map here, the ladders that were here. I guess they eliminated those.
No, they are there. Sometimes they don't show up for
Okay,
guests
so it's
in
just
the
me that
room.
they're in.
Yeah,
Okay, so ignore
yeah,
me and my rant about the invisible ladders that I can't see. Um, I think if Maul's gonna go do anything, yeah, you'd have to pretty much double advance, right, to get that angle since Gar's blocking the pull there. Um, but yeah, you can definitely get Dooku off the point still. Maybe get a hit into him, and the same thing. You're just kind of looking for that one success, or
mm.
sorry, 2 successes, I believe, on his other side to get the reposition, get yourself onto the point, and then
You
Maul
do
and
have to be
Gar
fairly
probably not.
careful though, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
7 dice melee defense for Dooku, even with expose, that's a lot of dice. I mean, that's still looking at about
That
2 or
and
3
being able
blocks.
to, yeah, turn off hits up to 3 of them. It's definitely risky.
Yeah, yeah. In this expose heavy meta, I think that Dooku is actually quite good, especially considering he doesn't spend the force on anything else, right? So he can just have that
Exactly.
clutch sort of, yeah, that reposition prowess. I mean, at the very worst, you can still just double that point up with both Maul and Gar. So you just take it no matter what. But you do have to be careful of that Magna Guard activation coming in. So maybe some clutch body blocking or something similar would be good.
Yeah, I think we need some kind of...
Could join for stream?
Sorry, we're just doing a live stream. Wiggle. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh.
We're just commentating on a game at the moment.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I've just muted Wiggle. But thank you for joining us. Okay, so what we've had is we're just measuring for some pull angles here. So I think the guys are just allowing this to happen. But this is technically, if I'm going to be a rules lawyer, technically not allowed. But I think that's a fine thing to do. Pulling the Magna Guard, making their one movement a little bit more difficult to get in there. And maybe you could body block Gar Saxon here with Maul. What do you reckon? To prevent Gar Saxon being pulled off?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a viable option here, and it looks like we're just going to finish off these Magnas, which is also not a bad idea, considering they haven't actually gone yet. So it's always a rough spot to be in when your supporting unit is wounded before they've actually had their first activation. It's just going to lower their efficacy going into the late game.
Exactly, and we have, I'm not sure if we've gone for Dooku or the Magna Guard. Both of them roll the same number of dice on a ranged defense. So... we'll see what ends up happening.
It looks like we've done the Magna, because we have a expose put on the Magnas now.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Yeah, cool. So it will be a wounded Magna Guard, and we've just had Wiggle join the stream. So thanks for watching the Siam. Thanks for joining us. And no problems if you're enjoying the stream. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Look, if anyone in the audience does enjoy what they're seeing, chuck us a follow on Twitch. We've been doing it weekly for a while now, or sometimes multiple times a week. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, chuck us a like and a subscribe if you like what we see. And any feedback that you guys have, please let us know, because we are trying to do this as best we can. So we're always happy to really try and get the best streams as possible. So yeah, anytime. So we've had a wounded Magna Guard, which is savage, as you've said. They're going to be sort of pretty easy to knock out and prevent Longhiver from activating them anytime soon, because once they've got that second wound token, they're probably going to be played from reserve, right? Like you're really not going to want to see them until maybe struggle 3 or the very end of struggle 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. That's a good spot for Souup to be in, having the wound on them that early.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then they're just so out of position at this point, so it's definitely not a bad spot, not a bad play there with Maul getting to do the things he wants to do.
Yeah, and as Longhiver, I mean, do you activate the Magna Guard straight away here? It looks like he's considering it.
I think I'm going. Yeah, I'm trying to score 4, so you probably wake up the Magnas, remove the pin. It stinks to keep the expose on them, but if you had to choose, you're taking off the pin so they can actually get in there and do something.
Well, with enough successes, they can heal the
right.
the expose anyway. Yep.
So I think here, I don't know that this one all the way back here probably doesn't get in range. I wonder if you... Yeah, it looks like he's measuring to see if you can attack Maul. I know this other one definitely gets to Gar. I wonder if one shove is enough to push Gar off from that. It looks like it might be. So maybe then you do just push Gar off, and then you've got 2-to-1 Magna and Dooku to Maul. So you take that point back, score 4. That's probably what I'm doing in this scenario, just to get the Magnas back in. Yeah, I think that's where I would go.
Yeah, and the reason that we just saw Luminara dash there, guys, is because of the flow of the Force, of course. So that's a good little advance being triggered after a wound is caused by a friendly unit. And Maul did, of course, wound the Magna Guard to allow Luminara to dash up a little bit closer. So I think the ideal, I think, card here to pull is probably Kraken, because then you can get the Magna Guard up anyway, or clear some of those conditions, etc. And you can definitely pull or push Oh no, I'm so sorry. Kraken is definitely not the ideal activation because the Magna Guard are wounded. So I think we have healed the Magna Guard just then, and they are definitely going. And we will just be short of this maul here, but we are going to be able to, as you've said, Kevin, have a Kraken to Gar Saxon. I think that's probably the best character to go into there.
Yeah, if you want somebody off a point, just throw a Magna Guard at them. They're really, really good at that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're so tanky. They've got a fantastic expertise tree on combat. So, yeah, and then you can back them up with Kraken later on. So that's a really nice group of units there. And who do you prioritize as Soup? Do you start prioritizing the Magna Guard just because they're already wounded and easy to control from here on out? Wounding them before they activate is rough, as Wargaming Dad and yourself have said.
Yeah, I think for two different reasons I'm focusing the Magna Guard from this point out. Yeah, the ability to put the second wound on them, possibly in Struggle 1, is a huge opportunity. So maybe if Soup pulls Shatterpoints and is able to go with Maul, or even get those Mandos in there to, do a two different attacks at 8 damage, maybe you get enough in to wound the Magnus a second time. But yeah, that's definitely the focus going into here, because that's going to just really hamstring them for the rest of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have seen a Magna Guard move in, and we will see a 6 dice attack into Gar Saxon. And whilst they don't roll a lot of dice, their expertise tree is just absolutely fantastic. So we probably will see the shove necessary to get Gar off this point.
Yeah, we're just looking for some expertise, some crits.
Yeah,
there it is. Yep, you got the multiple crits coming from that expertise tree. Those ungodly electro staffs.
I mean, they're basically lightsabers, right? So we've got 3 criticals going through, and that will be the 3 successes that we see, which I think maxes out at about 5 damage, but you get 2 pushes and either disarm or a reposition. So yeah, it looks like we've chosen the reposition. The disarm there, and I think that is quite nice as well. So 2 pushes.
That's the right call.
Yeah, and a disarm. Exactly. So that'll really lessen the impact of Gar Saxon's activation unless he wants to do some healing or recovering actions before he shoots, which is going to, again, lessen the capacity for him to do a focus and an attack or something similar. So, yeah. So guys, if you've just joined, we've got quite a few viewers now, which is cool. So we've just had Longhiver activate the Magna Guard. This is still struggle number 1, and we're going to be putting Longhiver in the 5 slot, so 2 away from the struggle win at this stage. And there you can see he's just dragged his momentum cube. So how are you going to try and pull this back for Soup, or are you going to try and just set yourself up for struggle number 2?
Well, I'm probably not going to go with Lumi. I think she's going in reserve, because if I wanted to pull this one back, she is not the one to do it.
I mean, she's got a pretty good push tree on Makashi. She can definitely push Darth Maul off the point there, and sort of position herself. She could do a climb and then a sprint and then a good attack into Darth Maul. But he's just got such good defensive expertise, right? Especially on Sinister Cunning. So it's risky. The Clan Krees are probably who you want to pull.
I think I was thinking of the Dark Rage, where he's got the jump, I believe, on the defense expertise. So that would be the only thing where it's like if you're trying to get him off and he was in that, but he's not. He's just got the blocks only for the perfect defense.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lumi, 7 dice into 6. Not.
It doesn't feel amazing.
No, not the worst. Because I think with where he's positioned, you're going to need the 2 shoves, so you're looking for 3 successes from Lumi to be able to get Maul off that point.
Yeah, it's too scary. But we did put Luminara in reserve, and then we have pulled, I think, what we thought was the prime activation, which was the Clan Krees Mandalorians. And I'll just show the viewers their expertise tree, or their combat tree, which is beautiful. So they do have, that's the wrong card. They do have 2 successes equaling 2 pushes. So you're probably going to get that into Maul with their 8 dice attack, etc., etc. So what we've seen is them being pulled. One of them has climbed up onto the top of the objective here on the barricades, just to the left-hand side, still within range 4 of Maul. And then we're seeing a move action from the Mandalorian underneath Maul there. So 2 8 dice attacks into Maul is probably going to equate to the successes that we need. So we'll just have to see. He is a tanky boy, though.
I mean, even if
He is
each only got
tanky
2
boy.
successes and you went double push one and then pin push on another, I think you're in a good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have seen there it is, a 6 block, 6 defense, 6 block results from Darth Maul, and we have seen a crit go through though, which is going to be that one push that we need. So I'm assuming that we're shot with the one at the back here first, just so
Yeah,
the
the one
one on the
that's.
floor.
I think that's right.
Yeah, there it is. So we did shoot with the one on the container first, and now we're hoping for one more crit. Doesn't really matter about how many successes we get. We're just looking for those shoves. We just want one crit, and there it is. There's a crit as well. So 2 crits going through this time, into
Maul
another 5 blocks
rolling
from
some hot defense, but
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, he averages out at 4 on the 6 dice if he's not exposed. So 1 or 2 successes higher each time there, but it's not exactly the biggest swing. We still got exactly what we wanted from Souup. So you're probably going to put the shove and the pin now, do you reckon?
I think that's what I do because you just need the one more to get him off, and then just pin him down there is probably the right call.
Yeah, and now that he's on 7 health, he's starting to, I guess, lessen the capacity for him to start using Your Hatred Makes You Powerful. But we will see another force being spent there to jump up on this objective, and that'll be a 3-point swing back to Souup. And Longhiver is just looking to consistently equalize, I'd say, and score that 4th point by putting a lot of pressure on the right-hand side of the board here. And I think Souup is fairly, like, once he gets those Mandalorian Super Commandos, he's probably in a pretty good spot to lock down the objective closest to us. But really, at this stage, it is the top of the board that is the most concerning there. I mean, you've got the B2 battle droids and Obi-Wan Kenobi, both of whom have some early success pushes. So how do you approach it from Souup? Do you just pray
At this
and
point,
hope that
that
you
might
can
just
hold
be your
on?
best option. I
Yeah.
think the one thing I may have done slightly differently with that Clan Kree's activation from Soup is I wonder that very first Mandalorian that shot chose not to follow up. I wonder if they just pushed themselves off of this, and then that would have gotten them close enough to be able to participate in that jump, the jetpack, and maybe also
Yeah.
get up on that point, so it's not just stranded back here. But I could see you
Mm.
wanting to leave maybe that one back here for the next struggle in case this
Yeah.
objective becomes active.
Allowing Luminara or something similar to get out of there. So we have pulled the B2 battle droids from Longhiver, and I think that's exactly what we were saying before. Even if you pull Kraken, I think you probably just whack him in reserve, and you know that the rest of your cards are just going to be allowing. Sorry, let me start again. You know that the rest of your cards are just going to allow you to put a lot more pressure on this top hand objective here. So it's definitely advantage to Longhiver at this stage, I would say. If he actually gets a wound on these Mandalorians and takes that objective, he does win the struggle. So it's been a good, tight little struggle here. It's been about, a 30-minute struggle. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the math on these B2s wounding the Mandalorians, though? They don't have an expose, and the Mandalorians have some fantastic range defense with their Beskar armor.
And they're definitely in range 3 of bow, and they're on the objective, so they are getting that steadfast and protection.
They are. And I'll show you guys that ability. This is Some of Us Serve a Higher Purpose. So allied Mandalorian characters within 3 of Bo-Katan that are contesting 1 or more active objectives have not only protection, but also steadfast. So those shoves are going to be useless for the B2 battle droids. And we've definitely seen a good activation there from Souup, and he's positioned his Mandalorians there really nicely because this Mandalorian here, I'm zooming in, won't be able to really be displaced, and you're just hoping to wound him basically with those B2s.
I think you're
They
just
don't
trying to kill
have-
him. Yeah, you're just trying to go
Yeah,
scorched earth and just because this is the opportunity, like you said, for Longhiver to win this. So I think you pay the force for the double saturation fire.
yeah, the 2 extra dice, and we have seen that being played. But these Mandalorians with that Beskar armor, I mean, that's 3 blocks. That's pretty good. Oh, that's a great roll, though, as well. So we've had 6 successes down to 3 with an extra damage added in as well. So 3 successes down the tree plus a damage. And what does that look like?
5 down to 4. That's good.
5 down to 4. That is good. Yep. And we will be able to get 1 shove there as well, which means that if you get another roll like that, you will indeed be able to knock them out or get a shove on them as well. which is good. I'm not sure if we shot with the first or the second B2 battle droid there. It kind of looks like we might have actually shot with the lead battle droid. But I'm not entirely sure. But we can also only roll 6 dice on the next attack. We're not able to get another saturation fire because it is a reactive ability.
Right, yeah, misspoke. Yep, once per activation. Yep, you're correct there.
Yeah, so you're really hoping that you do get this Mandalorian. You need 1 success and 2 expertise, or 2 successes and 1 expertise for that straight damage. I mean, B2 battle droids, do you enjoy playing with them? Their expertise tree can be sometimes beautiful and sometimes horrifying to behold if they don't get any of those natural crits.
It reminds me of the, in some ways, of the 212. Just in the same way where they've got a really interesting tree. It's like they've got a lot of damage accessible to them between their expertise and the damage just in their tree. So,
yeah.
But they start with the 6 dice, and you probably want to focus. I mean, I don't know if maybe I focused and then use saturation fire, and just pump those numbers because I'm really trying to get the wound. Because then maybe I just reposition 1 over there if they get 3 into the tree. But that is also putting a lot of faith in the dice, so I could understand maybe just wanting to shoot first and then at least get 2 bodies on the point on the worst day.
Absolutely, yeah. So we did fail to wound the B2 battle droids there, but we will be able to climb to, I think, get both of these B2 big base battle droids on the point, which is what you were saying. If you had that second Mandalorian on the point, I don't think that it would have been able to take it off you. But I mean, it's difficult to allocate resources to that because if you do have the objective flip and you don't have someone contesting that back left-hand side objective, it does suck a little bit. And each player's objective, like their home objectives and the flank objectives, have an equal chance of going active in struggle number 2. So it is quite a difficult choice to make. But yeah, we're 1 away for a Longhiver victory in terms of struggle number 1. So how do we? I think we probably have to forfeit and set up for struggle 2. No,
I think that's the right call at this point. It's very unlikely that you're gonna stop this kind of swing from going when it's that close to ending. Because who do we have left in the activation for Soup? We've got Super Commandos and Shatterpoint. Obviously, Lumi in reserve still.
Yeah, but Lumi,
maybe you just get Lumi on the point for that next struggle.
Yeah,
get her up there and put at least something into the super battle droids. And I just want to make sure it's not just my screen that's not showing it, but it looks like I'm not seeing the damage shown on Soup's Super Mandos from the 2 attacks from the B2s. Is it
yeah
visible on yours?
Yeah, it is. They're on 5, so they've got 2 health left.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, which is going to make it pretty easy.
Then I will be consulting with you to make sure that I'm reading damage correctly because some of it's not showing.
Yeah, for sure. Which means that Obi-Wan out of hiding does have a relatively easy time of coming in and wounding them. But we'll see what happens. We actually haven't seen any wounds happen for Soup. So the flow of the Force has been mitigated a little bit there. You're probably hoping to maybe have some wounds to clear up some of those conditions and damage on Gar Saxon, or maybe Bo-Katan, or even those Clan Kreese Mandalorians. So it'll be interesting to see how we attack this second struggle. I think we probably do go with Bo-Katan. With what's her name? Luminara. Just do a climb and then a force speed, and then you'll probably get enough successes to shove these B2 battle droids off, considering she's got a really good expertise tree. Luminara does. The lightsaber 1 expertise is 2 successes, so she'll probably be able to get the double shove on them to get them off the point. What do you think about that play?
I think that's probably the right call for here. It gets her on the point for the next struggle. Spreads the bodies out. Luminara is going to be a tough one to displace with the people over here. I mean, Maul can do it, yes, but I don't know that the B2s or Kenobi are going to have as much success dislodging Luminara.
Yeah, exactly.
I almost wonder if it's worth. I'm just thinking about the force that's left here. Putting yourself in range to be able to use that last 2 force to full heal Bo-Katan, remove 6 damage and a pin. Maybe it keeps her alive, through another attack. But then Then you have no force left for the Super Commando's jetpack, so that would be the trade-off there. Obviously, Maul. Shatterpoint is left still, so you could always Shatterpoint Maul. He's not going to take any of your force away if he doesn't want to. Oh, and it looks like that's exactly what we're seeing. Yep.
Yeah.
There goes the heal.
I wonder if I would have been tempted there to actually full heal the Clan Kreese Mandalorians though. Just because they're the ones that are going to be holding both the back and the side objective alongside Luminara. Like if Luminara doesn't wound these B2 battle droids, which she physically cannot do, she can just have one of the Mandalorians wounded or pushed off the point by Obi-Wan. So I feel like I might have actually gone for the Clan Kreese Mandalorians there, but we'll probably see it pay off in the long run. I mean, Souup is a very good roster player here.
I can see the logic. It is the 1 extra damage, but then that pin being removed is huge for Bo.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be 6 successes into 2 blocks with the B2 battle droid. So it is going to be 4 total, 4 net. So what can we do with 4? It'll be 1, 2, 3. I mean, you only need the 1 shove, so you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage down to 5. That's pretty good.
6 down to 5, a reposition shove. Yeah, definitely not bad. Double shove jump. I wonder.
You could be cheeky and take Obi-Wan's objective. But it's going to be the same net result. You take
Obi-Wan's, or you take Obi-Wan's, or you go put Luminara on the middle going into this next struggle. I think both are valid options here.
Yeah, it just depends. Like if you're Longhiver and you've seen this take place, you've got the choice, I think, between Obi-Wan or Kraken. Who do you take? If you take Obi-Wan, then I think you've got a surefire way of scoring 4. I mean, you just come up here with run, and then you climb, and then you have an attack into the Clan Kreese Mandalorians, and that'll take the objective for you. And that's why I think I would have considered maybe full recovering the Clan Kreese Mandalorians here, just to make Obi-Wan's time a lot harder. I don't think he can actually do 7 damage. He can, if he gets 4 successes into them. But he's only rolling 6 dice, so it's not fantastic. Yeah. So I think if you pull Kraken, you put him in reserve, and then you take Obi-Wan, and that's the way to do it.
I think that's the right call. You want Kraken to help reposition your guys when we're going to the next struggle.
Yeah, exactly. Kraken's such a powerhouse of an activation. I mean, he's just so good. Do not let them escape, allowing both members or any members of a unit to dash if they're a battle droid supporting unit. Tactical network for even more dashes and more attacks. He can reserve himself for free, and he's got protection and steadfast while he's on a point. He's so good. I absolutely adore him. So yeah, Longhiver just needs to score this point here, and I think the B2 battle droids that are still on the platform, they're contesting. So he just needs to get a second body on here, and he's pulled Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I think that's probably the good activation that you need. I mean, you only need 1 success or 2 successes into these Clan Kreese, so you're probably going to get it, I would say, with a run and then a climb. What would you be looking at?
I think exactly that. Yeah, a run, climb, and just like you said, try and get 2 successes into them, get that 3 damage needed. 3 because Bo's protection still influencing that. But yeah, you get the wound on them, and but then I wonder.
I guess choice
you get
there.
The Luminara heal then, so I guess it's not a total disaster for Souup, because then maybe if they get dropped, then you pull a disarm and some damage off of Gar from Luminara.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the full recover there was to keep Bo safe from Obi-Wan's activation, considering that he can just sort of run in and have a smack at her when she was, I think she had a couple conditions on her, and she wouldn't have benefited from that protection and steadfast. So I can see both. It's tricky. I mean, Obi-Wan is fast enough to reach both of those characters. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think Kraken's the right one to go with unless you're gunning for a wound. But the shoves on Obi are probably a little bit more reliable. I don't know. You only need 2 more damage on Gar to get the wound on him.
valid point as well. Yeah, let's see. We got some measuring for that. Because what can Kraken do if we go with him? Gets that Magna moving.
Yeah. He won't actually have
mean,
range
does
to have a
he-
crack at Gar either.
Well, I'm almost wondering if you go with the with Kraken, do not let them escape. Do you
Oh,
get
yourself. Yeah.
a Magna in range? Yeah, or yourself. Yeah, do you get a Magna in range to maybe do a tactical network attack into Gar?
Yeah, definitely. So you can attack into Maul here, put some conditions on him, and then you can also tactical network the Magna Guard to
Oh, looks
yeah.
like we're
So
got Kraken setting up for this midpoint.
yeah, I think that's a great use of his activation. So setting up for struggle number 2 is abandoning the back objective though. I don't think the the Magna Guard here is in range to contest it, but the center point is one that you definitely want as the. I mean, it's active
chance
in
to come up with this next one.
exactly, and there's nothing that Soup can do about it, right? Like if he abandons both of his rear point objectives. Or if he keeps them, Soup just picks the objective layout that doesn't have those objectives active, right? Whereas he can't do anything about the center point. The center point, if the center point shows up in an objective, it's a guarantee. There's no choice that you can make to get rid of it as the losing player of struggle number 1. So we are seeing a point spent here, a force point spent for a tactical network, and I think this is the opportunity to try and wound Gar Saxon. We only need 1 success or 2 successes going through here, so it is pretty likely, and it looks like we're spending tactical network before we've actually had a combat action from Kraken, and that's probably in the hope to try and condition stack some of these Mandalorian super commandos. So I think that's a good idea. But if you don't see the expertise, yeah. So we haven't
looks
seen
like Gar's
it.
gonna survive that.
Yeah, which isn't the end of the world for Longhiver. I mean, he can just not move Gar Saxon. I probably wouldn't push him because then you just make sure that. You don't
You
push him
probably want
here,
to
right?
just shoot at him now with. Yeah.
You go. Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, Crack probably gets 1 damage through on him to finish him off.
Yeah, surely. I mean, we did see. I don't know if you watched the Soup against Aman game, but Aman had to get 1 success onto Gar Saxon in a very similar situation and failed to get the successes that he needed with Mother Towson. So you never know.
Sometimes
Dice can
Gar
die
just doesn't want to die.
Yeah, exactly. No crits would be disastrous here, so we'll see. But we do get the crits that we need. Yeah, so yeah. It's going to be 2 successes going through into Gar, and that will be the wound, and that will inevitably be the struggle win for Longhiver. So let me just update the tracker. So what have we got left in the bag for Soup? We've got, I think, a Shatterpoint, and we've got
Supermandos.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? Are you just going to react to whatever the layout is, or are you going to try and have a specific game plan in mind? Like, what are you looking for? Either or?
I think
Maul's fine.
you're just
Supers are
responding to whatever the new objective layout is. But it looks like we did with the Flow the Force heal on the Clan Kree, so that's 3 damage off them. That will help mitigate some of what the V2s did.
Yeah, good. I mean, they're a really, really resilient package once they've got the protection and steadfast, and of course the full heals or the Flow of the Force heals active. So let's have a look at what objective we've got. So who do you pick here, Kevin? We've got didn't expect a welcome party, and we've got stick to the plan. So this is going to be a force refresh. Any options for you?
I'm probably. I mean, I don't necessarily love either of them. If I'm Soup, I'm probably taking the bottom option just because my Clan Krees have already gone and they're already on that point. Which then means with who I have left, because it's Shatterpoint and it's Super Commando. So I think I'm hoping for Shatterpoint for 2 reasons. One, to get the Force Refresh, and then the other to be able to activate Maul, and he will easily displace Kraken from that point. And then you're going into holding 2 of those points, while Longhiver I don't think has that Magna in range 2 of that back one. So I probably go probably go that route.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think taking the bottom map here is better for Soup because the the Magna Guard is not in, as you've said. You've got either Shatterpoint. You don't want to pull the Mandalorian Super Commandos, but if you do you think you can get them on the point? 50-50.
I think you advance. I mean, one of them definitely advances onto the point. The other one probably not so much, but as long as you do it in the right order and they get their Mandalorians are stronger together trigger, even if one of them has to shoot into a target, it's not the worst thing because it's still going to be a 6 dice. So maybe they just go and bully Kraken off that point. But yeah, you're definitely looking for Shatterpoint here.
Yeah, interesting. So it looks like we've actually Soup's actually chosen the top deployment instead of the bottom. So it's where it's where the one that the Super Commandos are already on. So that's an interesting one. I wonder what the thought process was there. I think maybe if you get the Mandalorians, maybe that's the concern. But I'm not entirely sure. What do you think the thought process behind that is?
I mean, that might be it, but I still think the right call is the other alternative because if I'm in this position, I've already gone with Clan Kreese. I'm not saying their activation for a couple rounds at least. At least they're firmly planted on that active point. Whereas if I do the one that's selected now, and I pull my Mandos, okay, well, fortunately he didn't. I just think it forces you to have to stay in the back point with the Mandalorians, and they probably want to get into the action and beat up Kraken or something like that.
Yeah. So we've actually pulled the Shatterpoint, which is exactly what you've said. So now we can probably choose more. We can get that force refresh and even. I mean, I guess it sort of works out, and it sort of forces maybe Obi-Wan to take one of these backpoint objectives. What have we got left for Longhiver? He would have Obi-Wan and Kraken left, or Obi-Wan and Shatterpoint? I'm not sure.
Obi-Wan and Maul, because he Shatterpointed Maul.
Of course. Yep. And Maul, for everyone, we haven't seen him for a while, but he's actually underneath this bridge right next to Bo-Katan, which is probably another one of the reasons why she was chosen to be the target of the Force refresh. And it looks like we actually might be Shatterpointing Bo-Katan here, which is interesting. We can definitely get the Mandalorian back here up into the action. But we've already got that objective. Interesting. I do not know. We haven't rolled priority yet either, have we?
Is that what this roll here is, the shield, or did they not roll that yet to see what the primary objective is? Because if it's that back point, then Bo does make sense because she can definitely get herself there with all of her extra movement.
Yeah, potentially they just haven't put the token down, and that was the roll. I didn't hear it roll or anything like that, but yeah, I think if it was the center point here, you're probably choosing Maul, and if it's the back point there, I mean, you can still choose Maul. Like he can just pull Kraken off on his way to getting the back point there, and it just means that Longhiver is actually going into this struggle without any points scored initially, and I think Maul is still the answer in my opinion, because you just drive by, there is no place to run onto Kraken. He gets put on the floor, and then you're starting this activation with 0 points as Longhiver.
I'm definitely curious to see where we go here. I mean, maybe on the way over, do you take a shot at Maul? He's only got 4 health left, and he's pinned. I mean, Bo has the potential to wound him with 2 successes since he's already got that pinned on him.
Yep. Do you like wounding Maul, or do you want to keep him sort of damaged as possible to prevent him using there's the hatred makes you powerful or sustained by rage? I feel like you want to almost leave him floating around that 1 health line so he can't actually use anything.
Maybe I'm just I get the bloodlust and I see a model close to going down and I want to finish them off, so maybe that's just personal flavor.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think you probably just put Maul out of his misery, get the extra momentum, and call it a day, because that puts you in a more commanding lead, right? With this being the priority objective, because you're scoring 3 and getting a momentum.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, you might not want to lose too much sort of board presence on the right-hand side here if you do abandon it with Maul, and maybe that's the tactic of choice there for Soup. But Soup could easily make this really difficult, or even more difficult for Longhiver here by doing a drive-by and pulling Kraken off that point with there is no place to run. And that might have been the play that I look at, but then you're dealing with sort of just Gar and the Supermandos to deal with both the Mandalorians and Dooku. So, yeah, I think I'm starting to warm up to this Bo-Katan play a little bit more for sure.
Agreed. I think the priority objective definitely kind of dictates what that is, because like you said, if it's this middle point, then you probably do go with Maul. But with it being that back point, I think Bo is the perfect choice to go in there, get it done. And then one thing we saw too. One of the many great synergies with Bo-Katan is, when she moved up to that point and triggered her Mandalore will survive. Mandalore will survive. She healed that last 2 points off of the Clan Kryze, so now they're back up to full health.
Yeah, definitely. No, I can see that for sure. Absolutely. I mean, Bo-Katan's such a powerhouse of a unit, right? She's just so good for a 4-point. So we're really seeing the beauty of these supports happening. So you're probably going to go... Oh. It looks like we're allowing a little bit of a take back here, or we're just maybe... I mean, nothing was put in stone.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what we're trying to do here. Maybe we're trying to do what I said with Maul, but with Bo-Katan instead. So trying to get some pushes onto Kraken. Does she have enough pushes on her combat tree to get Kraken off the point here?
Because I know he's got steadfast while he is on the
he does
active point.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's going to need,
but it's 4 successes
for 2. Yeah,
I
don't know.
I don't know that one gets him off. So it might
exactly.
Be, she's looking for her tree. That's a
dangerous game to play.
A little less likely.
Yeah. Maybe we were thinking about wounding the B2 battle droids, but now we're deciding to go for Kraken. I don't know.
I think that the original plan probably seemed like the right call. Go for that back point, get 2 successes into the B2s, finish them off.
We did fully heal those Clan Kryze Mandalorians, as we said, so that was definitely part of the plan. And I mean, so 3 expertise on Kraken is 2 blocks, right? Yeah, so he's got 3 blocks total into Bo-Katan's 6, so 3 successes, which isn't going to be enough to get the shoves, etc. But it will be enough to get a jump. So Bo-Katan could do a cheeky jump onto the back left, so the back right-hand side objective, just to claim it. And I think that's probably what you want to do. She's going to get steadfast, she's going to score 2, etc., etc.
Oh, we just had a wound put onto the 2s. It looks like she shot them instead of Kraken.
Yeah, I am interested, and this could be part of the plan, is to get a dash onto maybe the rear. I'm just zooming in onto one of these Mandalorians, just to maybe get 2 bodies on this center point here instead. So wounding the B2s anyway, preventing the back point being scored, and there's the dash from this flow of the force here as well. So yeah, interesting play. A little bit confusing there, sorry guys. There was a few sort of ebbs and flows in terms of decision making, but we did end up going with Bo-Katan, taking the middle objective here. We also had her ability being used to heal all of the damage off of these Mandalorians, but I don't know if you're actually going to be able to place up here. Oh, you will fit. Okay. That's a dangerous, that's close. That is absolutely close. Very good.
I think you do fit. Yeah, that looks.
Yeah, it's terrifying though. Absolutely terrifying. So it sort of worked out in the end. We're still going to have Longhiver start the activation with start his activation with no objectives. We'll have to see what. Oh, is Obi-Wan Kenobi in range?
And now we have 2 full health Mandalorians with steadfast and protection in the middle.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. But I wouldn't have thought that Obi-Wan Kenobi was in range of that objective. But it seems like he is. I mean, it must be within range too. I mean, they've flipped it, so and Soup didn't challenge it, but they didn't measure for it. Let me just try and see what the objective is. So the objective is the priority objective is the Mandalorian Super Commandos here. and we're just deciding whether or not we go there with Obi-Wan, or we sort of... This is the problem. I mean, Kevin, have you ever used Obi-2?
I have personally used him maybe once or twice. I'm not a big fan of him personally. He's just not my playstyle. I've fought against him more times than I care to remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that one of the main problems with Obi-Wan out of hiding is that if he gets drawn late in the activation or late in the struggle, he really struggles to struggle. He really has a lot of difficulty sort of finding his board presence and his value. I mean, it helps going into struggle number 3 where you can kind of pick a flank, but there are so many things that he could have been doing had he have been front and center, you know, turning off attacks on the B2s or turning off attacks on Maul or something similar. So how do you utilize him now, do you think, Kevin? Do you just move him forward and take the back and try and get his range 3 bubble in the mix?
Around as many people as possible at this point, yeah. He's definitely one of the ones you want to pull earlier in the deck. I completely agree with you there. Because otherwise, yeah, he's just sitting here just kind of watching his friends get destroyed. I say friends loosely because he's allied with battle droids, but you get my point. So
can you really be a friend with a battle droid?
I don't know. That's actually a great question for the philosophers out there. So I think yeah, you just want to get him up in there. Maybe you go, but you don't want to abandon this back point. So I think he probably just tries to move up, stay in range of this back point, just so it's not an easy grab for Souup, and then try and arrange it so that he can still be maybe in range 3 of Bo, while also still contesting this, because then you've got that mind trick ready to go. Yeah,
for sure. So we've just seen the priority objective put on the appropriate place there, and we are considering a run activation or a run ability used on would be either Dooku or onto Obi himself. So I don't think Maul is engaged with anyone, but maybe he's just measuring for a Maul activation here. Because I think Maul could probably get there, right? Like Maul does a move, maybe a saber throw for a reposition and then a pull or something similar. It might work.
I mean, if there's somebody you want to count on to get places, it's probably Maul.
No, but he's pinned, so it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Right. Well, that complicates it.
So do you just go with Obi-2 here, run with Dooku, put Dooku on the back point, and then take, position Obi on a better position for the top right-hand side objective?
You're saying dash Dooku over to this the one kind of in Soup's deployment?
Yeah, exactly, with run.
Yeah,
I'll bring that up on the screen.
Yep.
Yeah. So guys, because
Obi doesn't really need to get anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he needs to come up and participate in the game. So Run can choose anyone that's engaged. So Dooku is engaged with Maul at the moment, and he could be used to heal and to reposition. All right, so I'm not sure what's happening here. We've chosen Maul. Maul looks like he's throwing a saber at someone, I think. Maybe into the Mandalorians.
Throwing it pretty well.
Yeah, so it is going to be 7 successes down to 3, so it's definitely not going to be a wounded Mandalorians, and that's where Bo-Katan's healing ability definitely came in clutch there. So it's going to be 6 damage onto the Mandos, and I think we get a heal? No, we get a reposition to strip the pin, and then we can see about some board presence.
Yeah, Bo might end up getting dragged right back off that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good shout there. So we've had a follow-up. We're about to see a reposition to get rid of the pin, and now we're going to be able to see both a move and there is no place to run, to probably take off maybe just one of those back Mandalorians there on the point, just so that you can definitely get up there. Like Bo-Katan has a little bit of an odd pull angle, but the Mandalorian has an easy pull angle. So what would you rather, or it doesn't really matter?
I think at this point, let's see what the damage is like on them. I guess it doesn't really matter at that point. Maybe Bo, just because she is sturdier, and they're just denying her that protection and steadfast. While also exposing her for the future. I mean, but Clan Kreese is not a bad option. It still takes a body off the point, puts expose on them, which basically means the next attack from anything is going to take them out. And maybe you even pull them in such a way that Obi is able to advance, get in range, and maybe just like attack them once and get a wound. So
Yeah.
there's some
Yeah.
options either way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in hindsight, maybe bow is better because having a protected and steadfasted 8 health model is pretty brutal. But even with protection and steadfast, you only have to do 1 damage to those Mandalorian clan Krees. So yeah, you'll probably be able to punch through that no matter what. So I think I agree, and we're going to see a pull happen here on bow. Or maybe not. No, looks like we're going to go for the Mandalorians. So let's just see.
I think there's a way you get... Oh, maybe you do get 3 if you place it, near perfectly with this Ingress point.
Oh man, I wouldn't have done that. No. I mean, he's gonna fit there, which is lucky, but that... Is he going to fit there? There is definitely some overhang.
Yeah, it looks like... oh yeah, on the... kind of the back foot of Maul, it looks like.
Okay, but they're letting it happen, so that's fine. But that was a risky play. Like I think I definitely would have pulled before I went up there, right?
It depends on, because let's see what all of his actions were. Obviously, he attacked. I'm wondering if did he get up here with the reposition? If so, then I guess if he's still going through the tree and resolving those effects, then yeah, there's not an opportunity to pull if you're trying to get up there. I'm just trying to think if Maul has an action left.
Yeah, he does. He would have no actions left. So he's done the attack. The attack equated to 3 successes. So it was the push, the reposition, and the pin or the expose.
And the pin.
The reposition actually cleared the pin. I think it would probably be better. Did they put a pin on the Mandos, or did they put an expose in the Mandos? He put a pin.
Pin, looks like.
So what you could have actually done there is you could have put the expose on the Mandalorians and then used There Is No Place to Run to put another expose on them and actually wounded them, if that makes any... I mean, that's a pretty nice little interaction there, doubling up those conditions. But it does trigger flow of the Force, so I can understand why you wouldn't want to do it as well. But that was a good play. I mean, you go.
1 too much, because we said we had 3 successes on Maul, plus that expertise adding a damage, so that'd be 6 damage. Should be down to 5, but it looks like we haven't factored in the protection for the damage that was placed on the clan Krees.
We went into the Mandalorian that was next to Luminara, so no protection on that one.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
What did I miss here? Right over my head.
So we haven't rolled the priority objective, I don't believe, and we have pulled the Mandalorian Super Commandos. So probably going to try and get far enough for a push onto Maul. I mean, you're hoping for a lot there, considering that he's in Sinister Cunning. But you need 4 successes to get into range there of pushing. But anything can happen. You never know. Dice can die sometimes. But no force on the Mandalorian Super Commandos is pretty rough. It's pretty rough indeed.
Yeah, that no jetpack is going to hurt.
Yeah, and you can't really abandon this back objective either because you know that you've got run in the bag from Obi-Wan Kenobi, so Dooku can just sort of hop up there really easily. So, yeah, I wonder...
Oh. We're rolling for the objective now. Okay, it is staying back here.
Yeah, so you can't really abandon it. Yeah. Do you think that the Bo-Katan play, if you had have put her on the back objective... I don't know. It's really difficult. Like you weren't going to be able to bake your cake and eat it too, right? Like it was never really going to work like that. But what you can do is this, yeah. So you've basically had the advance trigger, and if anyone's going to get the pushes, it is a melee Clan Krees. A melee Super Mandalorian Commando. So you do get the out of tree shoves. You get them in your expertise tree, which does circumvent protection. So that's pretty good. We could do that.
I still think, yeah, unfortunately though with the angle, you're probably still looking for those 2. So I think they have more dice to do it, but they're definitely still looking for at least those 4 successes if we're going into Kraken.
Yeah, so we're doing the ranged attack into Darth Maul here, and if you get really lucky, you get the shove there, which is nice, but it's unlikely. It's very unlikely. 2 crits is decent, so... But yeah, no, just the 2 crits, which is just going to be a couple of damage and a strain, but that actually might be enough to wound him, right? Ooh, not
3
quite.
damage and strain. No, that's 1 away.
Disarm then.
Looks like.
Probably disarm.
Yeah, 3 and disarm's not bad at all.
Yeah, it really makes the revenge, I must have revenge, retaliation attack a little bit worse. Yeah. But that's. I mean, I didn't even remember that Maul was on low health, so that was a good activation there. A good attempt. Good attempt indeed. But now you have to go for Kraken, right?
Yes, yep. Have to go for Kraken. Have to try to get those 4 successes. I mean, 4 successes and the expertise, or 5 successes. So it's going to be... It's tough.
It is. It really is, yeah. And Maul wasn't exposed or anything there, was he? No. So there's no way that he's got the wound.
No.
So we're going to go up to 10 damage, and we're choosing the disarm. Yep. I think that's a valid choice. And now we've got an 8 dice attack going from the Super Commandos into Kraken. So that'll be pretty interesting as well. So this is a big roll. Big roll. If Soup doesn't get this, I think he's in a bit of trouble. It's a decent amount, so it's going to be 2 crits, 4 strikes, so 6 total. But it is going to be 3 blocks, so yeah, not going to get what we need there, unfortunately. So that's going to be 2 points to Soup, and then we've got an OB2 activation to solidify some points. I mean, can OB2 get from where he is now to melee those Mandalorian Super Commandos, or is that a bit too far?
That's... Oh, I guess if he runs himself...
Yeah, exactly.
I think
he might be a bit too far
I think
away.
you run Dooku. I think you run Dooku and you just go camp him on this back point and put that pressure over there.
Yeah, I mean, you've got advantage points-wise, right? So you can sort of... You can probably play that long game. It depends really where the priority objective rolls. I think camping Dooku there is good in the long run. Let's see where the priority rolls. What do they got? It's back there.
Soups.
Okay. Yeah. So we know we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi for the activation. Ooh, did he put him out? Surely Soup's still in range. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So yeah, we run Dooku, do you reckon, Kevin? That's your play of choice?
I think, yeah. Because then that just forces Soup into a situation where, okay, somebody's going to have to go and... Somebody's going to have to try and take Dooku off that point. Maul is obviously the reliable option since it doesn't require any dice rolls. Let's see.
Yeah, Obi's not providing a bunch of value. Maybe we're trying to get the mind trick and also knock out those Clan Kryze Mandalorians as well. That could be the play. So guys, if you've just joined the chat or the stream, we are in the depths of struggle number 2 at the moment. It's Longhiver's activation. This is his last activation in the order deck, so we're about to have a bit of a force refresh. This is the current score. So we've got 2 points to Soup and 3 momentum, and we have Longhiver on 2 momentum as well, and we're just about to activate with OB2. So this is going to be very interesting. And when I say OB2, I do mean Obi-Wan Kenobi out of hiding. It's just the second iteration of the card, and this is him here. So I think, Kevin, what you've said is activating Dooku with run is the best thing to do, just to put a bit of pressure on that back point. Yeah, and then what do? Do you maybe come in and recover the damage off of the B2s maybe, or?
With the run ability, let's see, probably...
Oh, sorry, I just mean as like your second action. So your first action is just a move.
Yeah, definitely. If there's a way, I wonder if there's a way you position him so he is in range 2 of this back objective, far enough up to maybe he can cover Kraken, as well as Maul with the bubble, and then maybe you do a recover too. So that would be really like you'd have to pinpoint that pretty well with all those objectives. But I think there's a way that you do everything you want. You protect your guys up there with the mind trick bubble. You have Kenobi still just on the back point, and then you do get a heal off on the V2s. Maybe just remove. Oh, I guess that doesn't really matter. Yeah, they're already wounded, so who else could he heal? Maybe he heals
could heal the
disarm
disarm
off of Maul.
or just a damage off Maul. Yep.
Yeah.
That's not
probably
bad.
that Maul's close to dying anyway. You probably get rid of that disarm just so that when he does get to hit you back, it's not pillow fisted by not having the disarm on him.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing to do. Just get rid of the disarm. Yeah. We are trying to pinpoint though here. I think this is a big activation for Longhiver. So I think what you've said is getting within range 3 of Kraken and within range 2 of this back objective is possible. And then I think you'll also there be within range 2 of Maul. So there's a lot to think about here. There's a lot of activations to really to think about. Do you think advantage Longhiver or advantage Soup at this stage?
If Obi-Wan can get in the right position, I think advantage is Longhiver, only because if it's enough to have Kraken and Maul on that point in the middle, but then to also have them protected by a mind trick.
Yeah, it's massive.
It's going to be very difficult to get people off that point. You'll probably just have to pile bodies on top of it, and then that's just going to be a mess to have to deal with.
Yeah. So it looks like we've decided to run Dooku, take cover on Obi-Wan Kenobi first, and maybe not do the pinpoint sort of vibe that we were going for. Maybe that was a mistake. So we're going for the move here, it seems. And we're maybe even trying to knock out those Clan Kreese Mandalorians, as we were saying. I feel like I enjoyed your play a little bit better there. I don't think that there's a way that Kraken can get mind trick protected and you can engage the Clan Kreese, but I mean if you can
you focus on the protection with them, and then I understand the want to get the wound on them, but I think you just save that for any of your other characters that come up, since they're so close to dying anyway, and you just make sure you lock down that defensive bubble with Obi-2.
Yeah, so priority given to the protection of your characters, and then if you get a little bonus of knocking out the Clan Kreese, then good. It's going to be interesting. Oh, we are in range. Okay, so it looks like we've got the best of all three worlds there. Obi-2 does also have a jump, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. And that's a decent roll for Obi. And yeah, so that is going to be 5 successes down into 3, so 2 successes total, and that will be the wound on the Mandalorians. Yep. Great activation from Obi, and I think that's probably advantage Longhiver, as you've said.
Yeah, he's got that heal on the first one, so we can take that disarm off Maul like we were talking about, on top of everything else that Obi was able to accomplish here.
Yeah, that's absolutely savage. Absolutely.
If you really wanted to abandon that back point, you know, lock down the mid, he can always jump up there. I think maybe the safer play is to keep him on this back point, since he's already protecting his friends with that range 3 bubble. I think it's just overkill to throw him on there too, but
I think so.
I don't think there's a wrong option.
Yeah, there's Maul is the only diceless displacement for Soup, right? So there's not a lot that he can do about the mind trick. I mean, he can get Maul up there, which is good. And in these scenarios, you probably attack first, especially because you can plonk yourself in between Longhiver's Maul and Longhiver's Kraken. So even if you do get mind tricked, you'll be able to attack the other guy and then displace the third or whatever. You know, attack the person you can't mind trick, or you attack the person that you have to attack after mind trick, and then pull the person that you got mind tricked from, if that makes sense for the audience. That's a mouthful. But yeah. No, that was a really good Obi-Wan
play. Think about when you're playing Obi-Wan.
Yeah, oh my goodness. I mean, trying to get an objective, a heal on Maul, and a mind trick on Kraken, and also engaging the Mandos, that's brutal.
He did it all. That was a really impressive display from the man himself, coming out of hiding to win the day for the Separatists.
Absolutely. Well, maybe. We don't know. Maybe,
yeah. What a traitor here this Kenobi is.
I know.
For Maul.
He hated battle droids as well.
Unreal.
It doesn't make any sense.
Hated, yeah, I mean, and Maul hated him. I doubt Maul would let him serve under, but who knows? Whatever. This is a weird alternate timeline.
Yeah, this is a what are they called? Oh, he is abandoning. Interesting. Okay, so he's abandoned the back point here and plonked himself in the center. What do you think about that play, Kevin?
I probably would have stuck with keeping him in the back because your friends are already protected. But I mean, this really solidifies your hold on the midpoint. So, like I said, no wrong option. I think I personally would have just kept him back there because he was doing everything I wanted him to do, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
it's a live body on that back point in case that becomes active.
100%, 100%. So there is okay. So we have to roll the priority objective. Both players are sort of equal on the scoreboard at the moment, but board presence wise, I think we've got a bit of an advantage for Longhiver. And then we've also had the
Look at
flow
that!
of
The
the
abandoned
force.
back point we were just talking about.
Yeah, that's so brutal. And we've just had the flow of the force heal all of the conditions off Gar Saxon, even though he's wounded, making his next activation a lot better. So yeah, I think I agree with you. I mean, you know that the center point would be less less holdable, but you would have at least an easier time holding the back point there. That's just been made the priority objective. So let's see who we got first. We got Shatterpoint, and that's just great. You probably actually want to shuffle that in, considering that it is the Force refresh one. What do you reckon?
Mm-hmm. It's not a bad option. I just wonder if I make a play for that back point now that nobody's sitting on it
Definitely.
and score that
Definitely.
too. Again, not a bad option to Shatterpoint with. I mean, Bo can do it. You Shatterpoint Maul, and he can. I mean, maybe you go with Maul here, right? Maybe you take Maul, do a force speeder in advance, kind of this direction towards his back point, pull Kraken off, and out of range 3 of Kenobi, get a a hit into Kraken, possibly take him out, and then finish by repositioning yourself over to this point. So you're scoring 3, you're claiming the active point, you're dragging Kraken off the mid, and possibly getting a wound. I think there's a big play here potential for Maul for Shatterpoint.
Yeah, no, that's a good play for sure. Absolutely, we might be going with the Clan Kreese though instead, and that could be good as well. If we get the Clan Kreese wounding both Kraken and Maul, we could actually win the struggle in this one hit with double momentum. Also, you get one wound with Luminara, and the options sort of really become wide open thanks to Flow of the Force. So, is there any way that a Flow of the Force play could get us the objective here?
I don't know that this is the play here, only because of Kenobi's presence there. So you can you make the shots up there, he can just mind trick it into somebody else, and you're effectively losing the bonus of your sharpshooter by removing 2 dice from the pool and not getting to attack who you want to. So I think it's a much riskier play to go with them.
Yeah. So how many characters have you got up on this point as Longhiver? You got 3. You've got Maul, you've got Obi, and you've got Kraken. Now, whilst you can get mind tricked, you've got really good shoves. So you could shove Obi off here if you try and attack, let's say, Maul. Interesting. So we need to get one character off these objectives here, and I think the only problem here. Oh, you're not going to wound Maul anymore because you had some recovers, so you don't care. You just need to get one shove. So this actually could be a 4-point swing for Souup here, which is nice. We just need to get one success onto one of these characters.
Except Kraken, because he's still got the steadfast.
Yeah, except Kraken. Sorry, yeah, ignore Kraken.
The issue
at the
then
very
becomes
least, you scored 3.
you're doing you got to focus 6 dice attack, reduced to 4 dice with a mind trick.
Yeah, but one crit.
Yeah, agreed. 1 crit. I think you and I have both been in situations where we needed that 1 crit, and it decided to hide from us. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, this is an exciting play for sure. So we're thinking about the mind trick here. We have tagged it on Longhiver. I'm not sure who we have mind tricked. Okay, so we're attacking with Floor Mandalorian into Maul. Interesting choice there, I think. As Longhiver, I think I just accept that attack. Don't you? Because you're not going to get pushed anywhere.
That's a good point. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let me think about that. Because Maul, what are we looking at? 5 damage to take out Maul. He can't retaliate since it's not a melee attack.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, that's nice.
So 4 successes, so 3. So 2 crits on the... Sorry, 4 expertise on the Mandos is... That's Bo-Katan.
Crit hit.
Okay, so it's only going to be 2 successes total, so that's not what you wanted. Yeah, I don't think I would have attacked them all there. You're reaching pretty far to try and get the successes you need, right? But if you're just looking for pushes, I think I might have started with the melee Mando first. Maybe you're just looking for board control, which is totally fair enough. I mean, we've just put a pin and a disarm on Maul, so that is really good. Yeah, we got 3 successes there. So I mean, that's fine. That makes Maul's activation a lot worse. But we're maybe thinking about, we've just taken those conditions off, so maybe we're thinking about a different pathway here. What would you have done, Kevin? Would you have attacked Obi first?
I see the value in the play potential here. I think, again, I've done enough risky plays in this that some have paid off and then some just haven't. I still think I probably would have gone with Maul for the Shatterpoint.
Right,
if I'm being honest with you, and backpacking off that way. But again, it's tough. I don't really want to attack anything near Kenobi.
Yeah, you're right. But forcing Kenobi to spend Mind Trick is good if he does decide to do it. Longhiver's just considering it now. Looks like the target was Maul for that first attack. So, yeah. I mean, if this works, it's a 4-point swing.
He does take the midpoint, and it is 4 points. You are absolutely right about that. So, there's definitely merit and value in this play. If it can pay off. I think the thing that gets me is that if it is Mind Tricked, a 4 dice attack is
into
asking a lot
Kenobi.
of the dice.
Yeah. So interestingly, the conditions that we put on there were the disarm and the pin, and we're going back into Maul. Do you think here we should have instead put the expose onto Maul to make the attack a little bit more likely, or would that just force Longhiver's hand to just Mind Trick preemptively? There's so many layers of complexity here.
Because you're at this point you're wounding him on 1 success. I mean, you probably want to shove him instead of pin him, because if he is staying up there and you're not getting him off that point, I mean, this is the danger though with going into Maul though, because if you wound him now, you're wounding him with a melee attack. So I guess the pin does have some value because he can't then run back to this ingress point, come back up here and hit the Clan Kreese.
Absolutely. So we've let the attack go into Maul, and we're looking for 1 crit. Oh, no. Sorry, we've Mind Tricked it.
Tricked to Kenobi, but look at that. We got, wow, what a defense.
Okay, that's brutal. So we are not going to wound and win the struggle, but we are going to get the crit that we needed to push Obi off the point. So that is really interesting.
And push Obi off the point.
Yeah. I mean, pin means nothing to Obi because he can just run himself and get the heal. Because it's brutal, because it heals first and then you get to reposition. So,
man, I'm over here joking about a 4 dice attack being awful, and here's Kenobi just whiffing the defense.
Oh man, that is brutal. Okay, so Kevin, here's some really good, I guess, questions for the also information for the audience. You have no control over the struggle 3 objective layout. So what are you going to do as Longhiver to prepare for struggle number 3? Like, what objectives do you really mainly want to...
Do what you said earlier and just pray to whatever you believe in, because when it comes to struggle 3 with this scenario, not being able to pick is such a gamble.
Yeah.
Because we know the layout is going to be... the mid is only going to be active in one of them.
One of 3, yeah.
The straight line across the middle. Other than that, it's the triangle, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, yeah. So the mid is only active in one of the three, and currently we've got advantage to Soup there. In terms of actually, we've got a pretty good. So Soup's got a really good presence across the middle when you think about it. You've got an exposed and already wounded Magna Guard, so they're not contesting. And then you've also got Luminara, and then you're also controlling the center. So the flanks and the center are sort of advantage to Soup here. But we have just drawn the Magna Guard, so we'll see what we can do about it then. But the Magna Guard are actually alive. They should be, that token should be flipped,
yeah,
right?
they're alive. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, cool. So just for anyone viewing, the Magna Guard are actually alive. So do you abandon the flank here, knowing that the objectives are already active in some of them?
I mean, it's risky and it doesn't feel great, but I probably just keep the Magnas so kind of where they're at. Get this one at least over to this point. Have this one and this point, just so you have presence in potential places.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing. If you're going to go with the Magnus, it's probably the best you do. Maybe, this one here does get an attack into Maul. If you want 2 attacks into Maul, actually, just to soften him up a little bit, you probably go with this one first for an attack, have him push him back into range of this one so it can attack.
And then move.
And then just
100%.
And then just move from there.
Yeah, and that looks like we are doing that. So it's going to be 3 crits into Maul, which is basically exactly what you need. So 3 crits into Maul, which is going to be 2 pushes and probably a disarm. And then you get to follow that attack up with the other Magna Guard, which is really nice. And then just move, and you've contested 2 of the those objectives there for next struggle. Because there's nothing you can do. I mean, you may as well just score nothing and pray that you get the next objective, right?
I think that's what you're setting up for at this point. It's like there's no way to claw it back, right? With kind of the board presence as it stands with these objectives. The Magnas aren't going to do what you need them to do, so at least they can set up for the last one. And, bully Maul a little bit while they're at it.
Yeah, 100%. Maul can be bullied. I mean, him and Vader, I feel like they're the some of the hardest hitting characters, or the most impactful characters. No, I take that back.
Yeah,
I think Maul is the most
to be
impactful.
Bullied.
Yeah, the Maul is the most impactful character, probably. But
Maul's
like
great.
Both of their expertise trees are pretty. They make them pretty fragile. They've got no crit mitigation, right? So let's have a look at this second attack. And it's going to be a little bit worse. So just going to be 1 shove there for Maul and another damage. So what's he on now? He'll be on 9 damage and he gets shoved. Okay.
I think that's actually all you're looking for there. I don't know that I'd want to, because if you go 1 more success in the tree, you're wounding Maul, and then he's just getting to run back and hit you. I think that you probably do just go for that 1 success.
Yeah, that's
Leave
very
him at
true.
2
Actually,
health left.
that's very true. So where do you position these Magna Guard? Is there a particular way that you're going to try and have them? Do you want them a little bit forward, like in the center where Longhiver is putting them now, or do you try and backstop them a little bit?
I think if you're trying to plan for backstopping, you're trying to think about who is left in the opponent's order deck, which currently is everybody, so it's hard to plan around that. I think I'm probably just trying to put them squarely on the center of the point, so that no matter what, it's probably going to take 2 shoves to get them back off.
We can fit this Magna Guard, but like in front of Dooku here, so we could, if we wanted to, take the point and contest for the struggle. But you probably just want to rip the Band-Aid off and have the struggle done.
Yeah,
right?
I think you're just dragging it on, and then slowing down the inevitable at that point. I think you do just kind of go for that 3rd struggle now.
Yeah, absolutely. And who have we got? We've pulled the Mandalorian Super Commandos, so yeah, that's a decent draw for Longhiver. Sorry, for Soup here. So we could even just sort of spread our characters a little bit out as well. Like you could have one of the Mandalorian Super Commandos stay on that point alongside Dooku, and then you could have the one on the center point even come and fight this Magna Guard. Or you could just abandon it and try and spread your objectives.
I think this is a good call here. You're going for this back point up on this whatever this terrain feature is you want to call it. Stack of
containers. Yep.
Thank you. I could not think of the word.
It happens. Yeah,
that's probably the right call. Yeah, just get on the containers here and kind of set up for whatever inevitable storm is coming from this last objective pull.
Do you try and wound Maul here? That actually might be a pretty interesting thing, like wound him with a ranged attack.
I think that's definitely a viable option here, only because he's not going to clap back if he's wounded by a ranged
Exactly.
attack, and then
And that gives
also
you control of the
force,
center.
Yeah, you force him into a position, whereas Obi-Wan gonna mind trick another one, because one mind trick great, but two it's getting expensive even for Dooku's roster.
100%. And you haven't even... I mean, you will get two back. You will get two back. And that's something that Soup's done really well, is actually mitigated Dooku's board presence completely, almost.
No wounds on primaries or secondaries just yet.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it looks like we're going for Kraken, I think. So 5 dice into Kraken. No mind trick, obviously. And that's decent. That's 4 successes into Kraken. Longhiver's just choosing not to roll dice.
I was like, are we rolling attack into attack? That's new.
So it is exposed. So only one.
Good.
Yeah, so 3 successes go through. So enough damage to put some conditions on. I think we can reapply that exposed token. What can we do? Yeah, we can reapply the expose, or we can maybe strain him, or even get a jump. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I don't mind reapplying the expose if the other one is going to just attack into him also.
I mean, the other one might be considering the Maul attack. But do you do it? Like, because you do get the 2 force back. You probably want to do it anyway, right? Like, as Soup, even if you give Longhiver 2 force, it doesn't really matter. Like, you're putting Maul in a condition stack, really difficult place. I don't know who we're going into. It looks like we're going into Obi-Wan.
With only 5 dice?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just going to be 1 crit, which is 2 damage onto Obi. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're just spreading that damage, making maybe the Luminara flow of the Force triggers a little bit more appealing and successful in struggle number 3. So I'll just update the overlay, and we will enter struggle number 3. What a game so far, huh? This has been crazy.
Honestly, yeah. Very exciting to watch. And then the middle, wouldn't you know?
Oh, no. Okay, so that's slight advantage to Soup at the moment, but... of course, it is Longhiver's activation, so he can do something about this. So we've got a tie in the middle at the moment. We've got Luminara winning this objective up here next to the B2s, and we've got Longhiver winning the Magnas. Yep. So what are you hoping for? Like, what do you think is going to give you the biggest impact on the board here?
Depends on what the priority objective is again, whatever we roll for that 2 points, because that's really going to dictate the flow of... it dictates the flow of struggle 2 and 3 just in general. So I think I'm going to wait, see what gets pulled there, and then hope that I get something that can influence that. Because if it ends up being the middle, all we need to do is stack another body on there. If it ends up being the one the Magnas have, that's great, because that opens up flexibility of a play pattern, because you can just know that you're going to score the 2 from the Magnas and set up for some of these other ones. I think I'm hoping for that, but looks like it's going to be the middle. So maybe you do go for the wound on Maul here with some kind of ranged attack.
Well, it is Longhiver's activation.
Oh, no.
So,
My apologies. Yep, I got it. I'm seeing Maul on Maul here, and it's frying my brain.
so we get the B2s, though, which is pretty good.
Yep. You can... let's see here.
The B2s actually might not be great.
I don't think they do a whole lot right here. Besides...
Yeah, because they can't climb because of the supers. The Mandalorian super commandos. We are going with them, though. We're probably going to be able to sort of...
maybe we shove Luminara off here.
Exactly, but getting damage onto Luminara... What stance is she in? Is she in her Sorosu? She is, yeah. She's in Sorosu. Yeah, so she's pretty resilient.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
She is pretty resilient.
Get that through onto her. I think, I probably don't go with the B2s here.
Yeah, because...
Unless you're just going for the super safe play and you just get them both on here.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad option.
It's only scoring you 2, though.
That is a valid point. Let's see. They could... I know this one can't climb. You can always spend the 2 force for the dash to get out of range so that you can then climb up there. I mean, it doesn't feel great spending that much force for it, but 2 big bodies like that on a point, Luminar is not going to get them both off.
I'm not sure what we've attacked here. We've got a 5 dice melee attack into the Mandalorians. Okay, so it's going to be 2 crits going through, which is nice. But I think that's only 1 shove. But that's great because it's going to allow the climb. So that's good. 2 crits is 3 damage and a shove. Yep. Wait a second. Into Luminara? I'm not sure.
They
weren't in melee, were they?
On her? No. 2 expertise, she would have turned a crit to a hit to a fail. So I guess maybe they got just 1 success on her. Yeah, it looks like it was just 1 success.
Okay, cool. And then we shot her again, and she's easily going to evade.
She's going to block it.
Yeah, and they're not going to be able to climb anymore. So you'll have to spend 2 for a relentless advance, and then you'll have to climb because they are engaged.
Yes. I don't know if they realize that, but yes,
yeah. Well, do you want to jump into the chat and just say, hey, they are engaged because you can't climb?
Yep.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you. All right, so we'll see what happens. It is going to be a 2-point swing. I mean, Kevin, is someone wounded that I don't know about? I mean, you shouldn't have the center point here. The center point should be neutral. The Magnas will take that, but the center point, I mean, both Bo-Katan and
they're saying the Clan Krees are wounded.
Oh. Okay. The Clan Krees or the Mandalorian Super Commandos?
The Clan Krees.
Yeah, but it was okay. Interesting.
Because there's Clan Krees here. So, yeah, I guess that's right. Because the Super Commandos they weren't engaged with the Super Commandos because they're back here on this other side.
Yeah, sorry, it was the Clan Krees that I was talking about, but I didn't see them get wounded. Okay, cool. That's all good. They've just got the wrong tokens out for Soup's side because they're showing that they're like injured, not wounded. Which is a bit silly terminology, but okay. So board update, we've had the Clan Krees Mandalorians wounded, and they are indeed, therefore Longhiver is going to take the center and the top objective there. So interesting. And we've pulled Gar Saxon. So is that who you're hoping for here? That's pretty good actually, isn't it? Because you can easily wound Maul and then get Gar Saxon up on the point.
All right, we've got that all cleared up. So sorry, my apologies. I was still typing. So we've got Gar pulled, and then what is the priority objective? The midpoint.
Yep.
Still.
Yep. Okay.
What does Gar do here?
Yeah, so Gar can easily wound Maul, and then maybe even get a Mandalorians are stronger together. Oh, sorry, Pride of the Mandalore jump into.
Yeah, it looks like we're jumping this commando up onto there.
Yeah, I think that's valid. We could also just take this point instead, but then you wouldn't take the middle priority objective. So yeah, this is going to be a really brutal struggle. Number 3.
It's I think you just the safe option, and you just get that Mandalorian up there because Gar isn't going to be able to. I mean, because he's engaged with Dooku right now, so it's not like he has a shot at Maul.
Yeah, he'd have to do a jump or something similar, and Soup's running out of force pretty quick.
Yeah, that would be the last of the force for that jetpack to get him in range.
Yeah, it's brutal. Do you think one of these fits up? I think they fit up. Like it's overlapping the overlapping the terrain feature, so they should be fine.
Or this one even just jumps to the Ingress and kind of pops up on either side of Kraken the same way that everyone did with Bo.
Yeah, 100%.
Or this one, probably lands next to Kenobi and then is accessing the Ingress point same way, just kind of climbs up to here. I think either one is a valid option because they're both like equidistant apart from it.
Yeah, because we know that they all fit now that all four of those positions have been occupied by the players already. But how do you get full value out of Gar's activation? I mean, he doesn't want to be engaged with the.
No, and he wants his friends nearby so he can take a focus shot. But I mean, he can still get an 8 dice melee attack if he can get in range of the focus. So maybe he just goes after the B2s there. I'm sorry, the Magnas. Yeah, the Magna Guard. And gets
there's just no way he can get that shot onto Maul, unfortunately.
Yeah. No. That does not seem like it's happening. He'd have to use that last 2 force for the jetpack.
Yeah, so he has already done that, it seems. So he's going to use Pride of the Mandalore on the Super Commando, which they were measuring for, and then he's done his 2 force for the jump, and now we'll see what we end up doing. Now it looks like we're just doing a move action. Yeah, I'm probably just going to go to the floor there and take a shot at Maul. I don't know if we can escape that engagement range, to be honest. We can go closer to the.
May have just done it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think he gets just out.
He's done it.
That Mandalorian was just like a touch over. This would be easier to.
Yeah, I think they have done it. I would have been interested to see if that jump did make it. I think that would have been probably better, right? The jump up onto the point with where Maul is. But I guess we're going to get the same sort of ability here. We're going to do a range 5 attack into Maul, and I think a second success for Gar Saxon is, of course, a wound. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, so if you've just joined, we are in Soup's activation. This is struggle number 3. Both players have, of course, scored an objective, and we have got the advantage to Longhiver here. He's on 4 points. But we did just see an attempt to have a crack into Maul, and we've just had 2 points, I think 2 force points spent for Mind Trick into Maul, so that's pretty savage as well.
Looks like they added the force back, though, so I think maybe we're rethinking the decision to Mind Trick there, because we're back up to 4 force.
Okay, interesting. Do you think you do it? I mean, if you do it, you're pretty much solidifying the game here.
Because then we're taking the midpoint, scoring 2.
Looks like we're letting it happen. Okay. Yeah, we're letting it happen into... oh no, we had the Mind Trick happen. But we're rolling 6 dice, so I think we are going into Maul. So maybe we attacked Obi-Wan Kenobi first? I don't actually know.
I'm curious why we're doing 6 dice, though, because if we're Mind Tricking, then it's reduced to 7.
No, you also lose the focus action. So it's down to... because you lose you lose your focus and your sharpshooter.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep.
Right there. Okay, but what ended up happening there is we ended up attacking, I think, someone first. The Mind Trick happened, and then we ended up attacking into Maul, and we did get the wound on him anyway. First. Yep. And then we are also going to get the Flow of the Force trigger here as well, so that's going to be interesting for sure. I'm not sure what's going on. I think they've just taken back some stuff. So we're just going to try and catch up on the board state here. So we've got a few triggers. We've got the Flow of the Force trigger, and then we've also got Dooku's trigger as well. So Dooku's trigger is Brave but Foolish. So after a primary or secondary unit is wounded, you get 2 force back, and then a separatist supporting unit can dash or make an attack. So we've had the jump off of Gar's combat tree, I believe. In the second success, he's jumped up into the center point there, and now we're just measuring for a Flow of the Force trigger as well. So it looks like those Mandalorian Super Commandos are just going to take contest. I can't speak. Are going to contest the Magna Guard point at the closest objective to the screen there. So yeah.
And then someone's getting a move or a 5 dice. So yeah, I think the smarter call is to get more bodies on points rather than just do the 5 dice into the Super Commando.
Yeah, but how did we refresh all that force? Because we spent 2 for the mind trick, and then we just went back to 4 force, and now we've just refreshed 2. So did we not mind trick, or did we mind trick?
But if we didn't mind trick, then why did we roll 6 dice? That is the question.
Yeah.
Did he not get? Was it just that he didn't get his focus action?
Yeah, I don't know.
Have them clear this up.
Yeah, have a think. Soup's just called GG, which is true if that's how it worked out. Anyway, we'll see. Have we? Okay, so we've moved on a little bit. Not entirely sure what happened there, guys. Sorry, we that was a few too many triggers to keep up with. But we have had a. Either way, we got the wound into Maul, and then we had the Separatist supporting Brave but Foolish trigger, and the Magna Guard jumped up onto the center objective to equalize the point anyway. So there was no way that Soup could take the center objective, unfortunately, because of the wound there. So that's pretty brutal for Soup, and well played for Longhiver. The one time that we see Dooku's ability, it does save the game, or at least cement the result of the game. So yeah, that's pretty savage. Yeah. So it does look like Longhiver will take this one. But that is interesting because both these players will end up at 4-1. So both of these players will I think one of them will probably win the bracket and still progress into the absolute the highest of the top cut round. So the top 4 players, top 1 player from each bracket will be able to have an opportunity not only to win the league, but they'll also gain a ticket to the end of the season Masters event, which is pretty cool. And then
very exciting. Can't wait to view those.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Have you got a ticket for that yet, Kevin?
For the Masters?
Yeah.
I have not, no.
Okay, right. Yep. So this is just our last attack going into Maul, just to see how many wounds we can get on him, it seems. So
oh, goodness, look at this.
So is it going to be a lot of attacks?
But that's a pretty great defense.
Maul rolls really well. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so with that, guys, that is going to be the game to Longhiver. So I've just updated the struggle tracker. So you can see 2 struggles, 1 for Longhiver and 1 struggle, 1 for Soup. So really, really good game by both players. Some really great uses of Maul underneath Dooku, but also underneath Lumi. So some really, really cool interactions. And yeah, great game all round. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me here in the commentary box. I hope you enjoyed yourself. What do you reckon about... thanks. What do you reckon about this game? What were you interested to see, and what appealed to you the most?
I mean, I think we got a little bit of what we wanted from both sides here. Is there's some definitely good intensity in action here, some really great decision making with the different plays. I know we talked about what our strategies would be, so it was nice to see maybe some plays that didn't come to mind immediately from me. With some of these Mandalorians, it's just they can really move around the board, so it's really exciting to see that. Always a good time to see Jetpack City with these guys. Maul is always just terrific to watch on either side. And then Dooku's presence just, it's nothing flashy, but he just does a lot for the team. Just presence, being on those points early. You don't really want to go into him or attack him, and he just passively assists the team so much. I think Separatists are really powerful in a good spot. Obviously, Kenobi is doing the things he does best and thwarting people's plans of attack. So he's just an excellent piece here to support the Separatist agenda. Who knew? If he would have just listened and joined with Dooku.
Hey man, Dooku offered him the position in episode 2, so this is the what if Dooku decides to if Obi decides to join forces. Yeah. Okay, well.
Maul too.
Yeah, I mean the whole gang's here. It's awesome. But yeah, look, thanks again, Kevin. I can't wait to have you back in the commentary box. It was really fun, and also having an American gives some perspective on an American versus, I think, Canadian game. Longhiver being from the Montreal Shark Tank. So yeah, look, you guys have been watching the Sydney City Space Slugs. This was the last of the Swiss games that we're covering for the current episode, but we will be moving into the elimination rounds as of this week and next week. So going to be some really exciting times ahead. Some really good coverage coming up. If you guys do like what you're seeing, chuck us a follow on Twitch, and also if you're watching this on YouTube, chuck us a like and a subscribe. We're moving towards a weekly stream on probably a Monday. We've got some really cool things planned for the future. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. My name's Tom. I've been the host, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again.